Thinking about doing your first triathlon at Chirk but not sure where to start? Wondering if you're really fit enough, or is triathlon just for the super sporty? Stick around because this episode of the Beyond Fear podcast is all about Chirk Triathlon 2025 and why it might just be the perfect first step to get into the sport. Get beginner-friendly tips and the real lowdown on what it's like to swim, bike and run through the Welsh hills. Oh, and while there's no footage in this episode, my husband Andy did film a really good chunk of the day, and he's just launched a new YouTube channel called Run Bike Dad to keep himself accountable. So if you want to see what the race is like from a spectator's point of view, head over into the description. I've popped the link in there. So let's get stuck in. Cue the intro.
Beyond Fear podcast.
But Beyond Fear podcast. Beyond Fear podcast. Beyond Fear podcast. Beyond Fear podcast.
The Beyond Fear podcast.
So if you've ever found yourself toying with the idea of doing a triathlon, maybe you've watched from the sidelines or heard a friend talk about their race day buzz, but deep down thought, it's not for me. I'm not fit enough. I wouldn't even know where to start. Then I want to stop you right there. Chirk Triathlon is genuinely one of the most approachable events you could choose for your first experience. Set just down the road from me, here in our stunning local landscape on the Welsh-English border, it's a cracking event that's incredibly beginner friendly. There's no ego, no pressure, just good people, a well-organized structure and a welcoming vibe that makes it even like the most nervous first-timers feel like they belong. Whether you're a what I tend to call a nervous dabbler, someone that's curious but cautious, or maybe you're a seasoned triathlete looking to ease into the season with a low-stress opener, Chirk 2025 delivered. It's an easy win event in all the right ways. It's local, well for me anyway. There were a lot of people there from the Wirral. Shout out to the Wirral. Anyway, being local takes a lot of the faff and cost out of race logistics. So especially if you're in the Wrexham or Chirk sort of area, it's perfect. It's small enough to feel personal, but big enough to feel like you're part of something exciting. The roads are quiet. The course is lovely and the support is brilliant. Although lovely for the run might be a stretch. I'm kidding. It's beautiful. And yes, you get an awesome medal at the finish line, so what's not to love? Let's talk about pre-race experience, because for a lot of people, especially like if you're your first time, the unknown around what happens before the start can feel like the most intimidating. So I'm hoping this will help settle those nerves for you. So parking. Now, I'm a big thing about parking. If I don't know where I'm going to park, I probably won't even go. But the parking, totally free. It's free, which in triathlon is a rare thing these days. You park just across the main road at Cronospan, and it's literally a few minutes walk from where you need to be. Cross the road, head up the road, straight there. So it removes that, where do I leave the car? How far do I have to trek with all my gear anxiety? Massive tick box. Good work. Now, yes, it's an early start, and I'll be honest, I'm not exactly a ray of sunshine before sunrise, but the silver lining is quieter roads for the bike leg. Plus, you know, you can get your triathlon done and home, coffee in hand, bacon butty for breakfast, worth it. So when you arrive, registration couldn't be easier. It's just literally tucked around the back of the leisure centre. It's all well signposted, and there's like loads of friendly volunteers helping you get to the right place. You get given your swim cap, your race number is written on your arm in good old-fashioned Sharpie, triathlon, street cred, unlocked. Then it's on to transition. I'll go into transition setup in a more detailed episode in the future. Once you're there, you've got all your stickers in the pack that they give you. Sticker on your helmet, sticker on your bike around the thing that you sit on. The saddle post, there you go, I remembered it. But the transition area is just one central transition, so no split transitions, which makes it a lot less stressful if it's your first one. It's really simple layout, clear signage, and then there's loads of helpful people. Shout out to volunteer Janet if you need to ask anything. You rack your bike, you set up your gear, you're good to go. So minimal fuss, maximum support, getting onto the swim, because this is where a lot of first timers, that can be the bit that's the most intimidating. Honestly, Chirk Triathlon, the swim, it's about as stress-free as it gets. It's a lovely pool. The Chirk pool is lovely, which is a huge plus if the thought of open water makes you want to run for the hills instead of dive in. So the pool swim means there's no wetsuits to wrangle with, no murky lakes, just a clean, heated pool and a warm, calm vibe. The distance this year was 400 meters, although fun little twist, it was originally advertised as 750 meters. So that caused a few confused swimmers who'd entered in some pretty different times predicted in the when they signed up. That was probably the only hiccup. Updating it wasn't that straightforward a process, and not everyone managed to do it. So I'm sure that'll be smoothed out for next year. But onto the actual swim. How does it work? Well, you're swimming 16 lengths. It's a 25-meter pool. I don't count in lengths, I count there and backs. It's half the counting. So it's 8 there and backs. Doesn't sound a lot then. There's 4 lanes and you do 4 lengths in each lane. You simply duck under the lane rope onto the next one and repeat that process until you get to the far end. You hop out and head through the door that's right in front of you. There's no diving in, no mass starts, no chaos, no getting battered, hopefully. Just a calm, rolling send-off with swimmers being sent off about every 30 seconds. You have plenty of space, you're not fighting for position, and the whole vibe is like really relaxed and well managed. And here's something important to know. If you feel like front crawl still makes you feel like you're going to drown after like 10 meters and you're out of breath and can't cope, breaststroke is absolutely allowed. So loads of people did it. When I first did my ever triathlon, I did breaststroke. I wanted to do front crawl. I literally managed half a length and was destroyed. It's normal. Most people start breaststroke. So if that's your excuse, bin it, because it's not valid. You can tumble turn. So if you are able to tumble turn, you can tumble turn, just not when you're swapping lanes. So when you're moving into the next rope, do not tumble turn because you don't really know what's going on in that lane yet. The poolside logistics are also really beginner friendly. So you can just literally wear flip-flops and then leave them by the door or hand them into one of your personal cheer squads, which was my ever supportive husband, Andy, who also took my dry robe. So I wasn't shivering while sorting all my kit in transition pre-swim. Spectators are allowed poolside. So that's a lovely touch because it doesn't always happen, especially after COVID. And because of the layout of the pool, the spectators can literally be alongside you. So as you're queuing, so you've always got people to talk to. Although I often end up talking to all the other triathletes around me. What Jen talks a lot, believe it or not, bit of a chatterbox. But having that support around you, it really helps. Just, hearing a few cheers or catching keep going as your ears coming out of the water. It's, especially if it's your first time and you're getting, your nerves are buzzing, it's really helpful. So if you can bring support, have them there. Toilets, yes, warm, clean and indoors, not potty potties, which is, 7 o'clock in the morning in Lycra, very convenient. The pool does have a standard deep end, but it's clearly marked and not at all intimidating. There are anti-wave ropes between the lanes, so it doesn't actually get that choppy. And the water's nice and calm and clear despite the amount of people in it. Although there was a random black brick-like structure in the middle of the deep end, I'm not sure its purpose, but actually that unsettled me for a few seconds when I saw it. It was like, I don't know, it just felt like my dog when my dog sees like a snowman around the corner when it wasn't there before or something. It's just like, don't like that. Overall, the swim is well structured, beginner friendly, and about as relaxed as a triathlon swim gets. It's the kind of start that helps you settle your nerves and think, yeah, I can do this, I've got this. You concentrate on your breathing, you relax in, you get out and get onto the bike leg, which is always my personal favourite. And Chirk's bike course, well, it's an absolute gem. So first up, you get out the pool, literally head out the door right in front of you, jog down a short ramp and you're in the car park. So you head over to where you left your bike and you can ditch your swim gear, grab your bike, make sure you get your helmet on first, and then get yourself out on the ride. So big thing, if it's your first triathlon, make sure your helmet is on and fastened before you even touch your bike. Some places can be really picky and disqualify you straight away if you touch your bike without having your helmet on and fastened. So helmet on, towel off your feet, shoes on, grab your bike, head out. don't mount it until you go past the mount line, which is on the road. So when you get to the line, cross over it, hop on and get pedaling. So it's clearly marked. So the route has lots of arrows. There's marshals at like every junction. And to be honest, there's a few junctions at the beginning, but then you're literally on an out and back road. And it's perfect. You're in like the Welsh countryside going through the Glencarriog Valley. It's beautiful. Traffic control meant that I just whizzed around each of the junctions. The marshal stopped traffic for me, which to be honest, there wasn't any going out. It was only coming back that a few cars started to rack up. It's very scenic, quiet roads, nice gentle terrain, so no major hills. So you start off with a short stretch on the main road, but it's really early in the morning and so quiet. I didn't see anyone. Not very long, you're then directed off towards the valley, past the train station. You go down a bit of a hill, and then I felt like there was a bit of a headwind, but I think it is a little bit elevated going out to Glencarriog. You go through a little couple of villages, small villages. You've got all the beautiful fields, and like it's like the mountain on the right-hand side, which takes you over to Llangollen. You won't notice that it's a bit of an incline unless you're looking at your speed sensor and thinking, a little bit on the slower side if you're conscious on your speed. But once you reach the turnaround roundabout and come back, you'll notice a bit of a bonus. It will feel quicker. So I was about a third, 33% quicker coming back. There is one hill on the way back as well, and it's one that you go down. A beautiful hill where you go down, you have to come up said beautiful hill on the way back. You'll know you're at it because you'll see Chirk Aqueduct over to the right. Beautiful, beautiful view. So totally worth the climb. So the road goes up. It's not stupidly steep and it's not stupidly long. But if you're not used to the hills, you're gonna know about it. So you can get a little bit of hill practice in. You're training that's ideal. You don't have to do anything dramatic, just kind of getting comfortable with getting out the start saddle, and a short couple of minutes of sort of a hilly effort will help and make you feel like a legend on race day. Helping keeping your spirits up at the top is a sign that says you're nearly there. And it's true, because once you actually see that sign like you're nearly at the top, the worst is over, the gradient's already started to ease. So the rest of the ride, it's lovely. You just head back into Chirk. You've got a sense of covering ground, of being in the flow, but without the pressure of intense traffic or technical descents. And one of the things I really appreciated is how well supported it all felt. The signs were clear, and the marshals were really, really good. They were very encouraging. So you got quite a few claps as you were going along, which for newer riders, it's just that peace of mind that I am going the right way. And another bonus is it's just one out and back, so you don't have to count laps. There's no confusion. You just literally go out, follow where you're pointed to go around a roundabout, come back. So mentally, that's a nice touch because it just lets you focus fully on enjoying the ride. As you come back into transition, it's a smooth return, same entry point, same clear layout. You just rack your bike exactly where it was, swap your gear for the run, and off you go. So more on that in a second, but to sum up, the bike leg is scenic, manageable, well organised, and the perfect balance of challenging and doable. So especially if you're newer to cycling or haven't had much experience racing on roads, I think I was maybe passed by like 2 cars at most. I'm sure one of them was the race organisers. So if a ride, it's a ride that makes you feel strong, even if like you're still getting to grips with like clipless pedals or just the nerves of being on the bike. So you've made it back on the bike ride, taken in those beautiful views, conquered the cheeky little climb by the aqueduct. Now it's time for T2, which is also known as Transition 2. This is where you switch from your cycling mode to running legs, or at least try to convince your legs to go from roundy to poundy. So the run starts just behind the leisure centre. It takes you out onto the road. Now the first 100 meters or so is an open road, but it's like a housing estate. It's really quiet and you just literally run on the pavement. After that point, it's all closed roads, so it's close to traffic. It helps you relax without worrying about cars. But here's the bit that no one tells you until you're about 30 seconds in. It is hilly. Now, I had been warned by a few people that it is a hilly route. I looked at the race profile, the route profile, and thought, it's not that hilly. Chirk isn't that hilly, but they found every single hill and put them into the triathlon. So it reminded me of Teletubby land. There was just gentle little mounds that just kept coming. There was nothing like dangerously steep, and there's plenty of downhill to balance it all out. But it is a series of undulating slopes, kind of going up to one, getting to the top, and seeing a straightaway downhill going up into another one. So every time you get to the top, you've got to go down and back up again. But honestly, it just made the course so much more interesting. Like, you know, if you need to walk the hills, you walk them. It's fine. There was loads of people doing it. There's no judgment. You're still just moving forwards, and that's what counts. All I'd say is look for the cameras and try and get the best running shots or jumping shots or whatever shots you like. Lie on the floor, get a cracking photo, and job done. Now, a lot of people are quite good runners and they expect to be able to run really well in a triathlon. However, if you don't add running in after cycling during what they call brick sessions during your training, you're going to struggle, even the best of runners. So when I was running back, I saw a guy coming towards me going, how are you supposed to run after that bike? And it's totally a fair question because your legs just don't feel normal. Even if you run a lot, they're wobbly, heavy, and sometimes a bit numb. They can feel very confused, and that's just because your body spent maybe like an hour using your legs in a completely different movement pattern. So although they're warm, you've got the blood flow and the muscles are all activated, it's all shifted and you're asking them to do something completely different. So you're asking your calf muscles in particular and your glutes to fire up differently, and they're just like, what the hell? So the solution is just short practice sessions, which are, as I say, they're commonly called brick sessions. So after a bike ride of any intensity, easier the better, just go for a 5 or 10 minutes run straight after. Try and like give it less than like 4 or 5 minutes. Finish the bike, 4 or 5 minutes, get out of the door, go for a run. You only have to go for 5 or 10 minutes. Doesn't have to be fast, doesn't have to be epic. Just helps your body get used to it physically and mentally. So your legs just settle into the run on the day. Let's say 5-10 minutes, that is all you need. You don't have to start running 5Ks after every bike ride. So when you're doing the run and you get to the halfway point, the turnaround point, the marshals were fantastic this year. They were giving you so much cheering. They were full of energy, and it was just when you needed it. Coming back on the final stretch, once you come across the bridge, it's mostly downhill all the way to the finish. So I had one of the guys from the club. He was like hot on my heels and was determined to get past me, and I was just not going to let him pass. I was like giggling all the way down the hill, and one of the marshals was shouting at me saying, he's right behind you. And I was like, I know! Keep going. So anyway, you come along down that hill, back onto the bit of the path, and you go behind the leisure centre and straight down the finish chute. And honestly, that finish line feeling just never gets old. No matter how many triathlons you do, you see that finish line and it's just the most amazing sight. I had my friend Michael waiting at the finish line, and he got so excited he actually ran down the chute after me. I hadn't seen him running behind me. And then the local Cubs who were like handing out the medals and water and biscuits, it was so lovely. They gave him a medal too. He'd like done a 100-meter sprint. He's now got a triathlon medal. So he was over the moon, especially when they let him keep it. And I think that just sort of sums up the whole day, that it's like friendly, fun, it's inclusive and like low stress. So many people that I spoke to were doing it as their first triathlon. So shout out to you if you did see me and had a good chat, because I hope you had a cracking time, you know, and I hope you all smashed it, because like everybody's goal is different. Everybody has a different story and everyone has different targets for the day, and we all have like our own version of success. So that's the full run through of Chirk Triathlon 2025, from swim cap to medal, which I'm going to actually show you on the screen. Boom! Here is the medal. It is very pretty. So if you've been sitting on the fence about triathlon, wondering if it's for people like you, or is it something that you could do, well, I want to tell you now, it absolutely is. You don't have to be the fattest, fittest, or flashiest person out there. You just have to be willing to show up, jump in and get on whatever bike you've got lying around. It's welcoming, it's well supported, and it gives you just that right mix of challenge and like confidence boost. You know, having to think about what the future you is like, what they do, if you see triathlon being a part of your life or a stepping stone to the next journey, it's a cracking event to start that path on. So whether you breaststroke your way through the swim, wobble through your first ever brick run, or power up that hill like a mountain goat, you've done something incredible. You've proved to yourself that you can face the nerves, push past the doubts and the barriers that you have in your life. Because we all have barriers and they're all different. But you know, it's about you working out what they are, persevering, pushing through, and coming out the other side stronger, or maybe just wiser. That's how I feel anyway. I don't feel like I get stronger, I just get smarter. And that to me is what triathlon is all about. It's not the podium, it's about progress. It's about doing the thing you thought you couldn't do. So if you're listening to this and thinking, maybe next year, take this as your sign. Do it scared, do it wobbly, do it with mismatched kit and everything all over the place, wishing you'd brought something different because you arrived and thought you'd forgotten something. Look, it's not something important, you'll be fine. And to be honest, you forget something important, there'll be somebody on hand willing to help out and loan you something to get it sorted. So do it with nerves in your stomach, just turn up and get it done. I'll be there cheering you on, probably with a coffee and a flapjack in one hand, and a cowbell in the other, shouting motivational quotes. So thank you for tuning in to this special episode of Beyond Fear. If you've got questions about your first triathlon, training tips, or just want to chat about taking that first step, pop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep moving, keep believing, and remember, the bravest thing you can do is just begin.